Well, happy holidays, everybody. It's been a while. I hope you're enjoying your time. This time of the year, they say it's the most wonderful time of the year, but it's also one of the most busiest and stressful times of the year. So, what can we do to lighten the load when you're at home around family and friends? Well, I'll tell you what, there's one thing we could do is we could look to some of the practices that we're using already at work. I mean, typically you're probably using some of these things, and we can bring Agile home for the holidays. So today what we're going to do is have a little conversation. We're going to keep it light because 'tis the season of mirth and joy. It's not the time to get all wound up with visions of sprint planning dancing in your head, right? Grab a hot cup of cocoa and let's go. Welcome everybody to the Coffeehouse. I am your barista and we will be brewing up a few tips that you can use around the home for the holidays. And I don't know about you, but the season for me gets here earlier and earlier every year. There's always so many things to do. So what do you do about that? Well, one thing that I could recommend is create a backlog. Now, don't throw your user story cards at me right now. What I'm saying is have a conversation with you and those that matter to you about the types of things that you'd like to get done this holiday season. There's many expectations, and one thing you don't want to do is burn out too quickly and have your holiday feast at the end of the year go awry because we're not feeling like we got everything done. So setting expectations is key, and one way to do that is, as I said, with a backlog. What does it take to put together a backlog for the holidays? Well, that's up to you and the people you love. What I would recommend is have one of those team meetings early in the season, maybe even pre-Halloween, so you can start to identify what are the common features or goals that we would like to celebrate together, and what are some things that are maybe fringe to most of us but very important for some others. Put those out on the table. It could be decorating the house inside or out. It could be baking or volunteering or joining a choir, singing carols door to door. Maybe you're planning an extravagant event for the end of the year. It could be a holiday feast. Next, you might want to consider working in iterations. That's right, I said it, the dreadful S word, sprint. Now you can organize sprints that are just a week long, that are a day long, or however short they need to be, so that you can deliver small increments and iterate quickly. So keep those iterations short and sweet. That's something I ask my wife often is, can you keep those increments of shopping very small, please? Never quite happens. Oh, did you hear that? Sounds to me like someone's in the drive-thru. Let's go check it out. Hey, well, look who it is. Dave Pryor from Leading Agile. Merry Christmas, Dave.
Happy holidays, Vic. How are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
We're,
Thank you, Dave. How are you doing?
I'm good. We're very festively dressed with our appropriate Christmas attire.
We sure are. These hats definitely put me in the mood for talking about bringing Agile home for the holidays. Dave, let me ask you. We work with teams all the time. Are there any things that we've learned working with teams that can help our families during the holidays?
I hadn't thought of this before, but maybe kicking off the holiday party with a family working agreement. Like for drunk Uncle Kevin, who's going to come staggering in doing inappropriate things in the middle of the Christmas party. What are the boundaries for that?
Yeah, maybe have everyone, as they accept the invitation, they have to sign off on the working agreements or propose their
Exactly.
own, right?
Yeah. So I got one from somebody on a call the other night. I was doing a personal kanban call. She was hosting dinner, and she created a kanban on the wall of all the things that had to happen to get all the food ready to serve.
Yeah.
And everybody that came in had to take an activity, and some of them paired up and some of them didn't, but they were working items across the board together.
Yeah.
So just a great way to kind of get things
I
started.
love that activity. Yeah.
Attention focused on stuff.
And you mentioned a word pairing.
Yeah.
And that's another tip that I would throw out there is don't think that everyone has to do things on their own. Encourage pairing. And if you have some of these projects on your list, and we'll name some other projects here coming up, but if you have some projects that you think could benefit from an intergenerational pairing opportunity,
Ooh.
like grandma and Susanna, pairing up or something like that.
Poor Susanna.
Yeah,
Or,
well, in the short term, she might think, this is a rotten thing to put a young girl through. But maybe she learns from grandma or Aunt Rosalind or whatever, some family
we got a whole
recipe or
cast of people coming over. Yeah, Rosalind and Susan and
yes,
drunk Uncle Kevin.
yes, and we're all going to make the most out of being together this season. How about you, Dave? Any plans for the holidays?
I'm going to do as little as possible. I've got some work to catch up on before we get there, but I'm going to try to take a couple of days off and do nothing but hang out with my wife and my daughter and just enjoy the time with them.
That's great. So whether your nights are loud or silent, there's nothing like being surrounded by loved ones this time of the year.
All right. Well, happy holidays, Vic.
And season's greetings to you, Dave. Thanks for coming by the coffee house. Well, that was wonderful, wasn't it? Seeing Dave Pryor, certified Scrum trainer from Leading Agile. So Dave and I are actually at this time both certified Scrum trainers at Leading Agile. But I'm not here to talk about work. I'm still here to talk about fun, frivolity, and mirth. Dave and I spent a bit longer sharing some other ideas for the holidays. So I'd encourage you to check out the full video at Leading Agile's website or their YouTube channel, Leading Agile's Sound Notes. Hey, one other thing that we did talk about is the idea of doing a retro or being reflective at the end of the year. Now, I'm not talking about bringing out the ghosts of retros past, but it's a good time of the year to maybe take a step back, look inward, perhaps do some planning for the next year. So it's worth a listen. Go visit Leading Agile's Sound Notes and you'll hear the full conversation. Well, until next time, I do hope that the end of your year is merry and bright and it brings all the festivities that you could want and more. So until next time, enjoy your coffee and hot chocolate with friends.